So, my name is Olga Mankova. I am located in Miami, Florida, United States, and 5 years ago I started healthy business in Miami. It was 1 year since I moved to United States. Originally, I'm from Ukraine and I speak Russian, so that's why you can hear my specific accent. I started selling healthy, raw, plant-based cakes without gluten, without soy, no corn, no palm oil, no artificial colorants, I don't know, 100% natural 5 years ago here in Miami. And it was that time when no any vegan restaurants, no any like specific healthy stuff in our city. Now we have a lot of restaurants. Now we have a lot of girls who can make the same cake like me. But when I started, for people it was something, oh my God, what is this? How it tastes? What is the raw? I would prefer to buy baked cake instead of this one. So I met a lot of opinions, and during 3 years, I worked with my customer list, and I built really great relationships with the people who care about their health and the health of their kids, and with people who read ingredient lists on the packages and really worry about not one-time piece of cake satisfaction. They worry about their health in the future. So I make cakes, raw and baked cakes, like I just mentioned, without any harmful ingredients. If you ever read ingredients for my recipes, you honestly can grab and eat any of these ingredients. Of course, I understand that probably cacao powder you can't grab a fork and eat, but anyway, it's a whole food ingredient, and you can be calm, you can sleep well by knowing that your husband, your family, your mother, your kids, of course, consume 100% natural treats and desserts. So my goal to show you that desserts without eggs, dairy, without gluten, soy, refined sugar, artificial colorants that many people think make a cake bright and beautiful. So without all these things, you still can enjoy healthy cakes and be happy. So I'm trying to make people happy. And also, you probably saw in the description to this live class that at the end of the class, I will give you the recipe for downloading with the recipe without sugar and carbohydrates. So this recipe is diabetic and keto friendly. And why I started to make such recipes, because again, my customers, they asked about such stuff. A lot of people suffer with different diseases, and they need to follow strict sugar-free diet, and not only sugar-free, sometimes, and I would say very often, they also need to avoid dairy, gluten, soy, so a lot of things. Let me see if you see me, because okay. So just tell me that you hear me and you see me, because I feel like I'm talking only with myself. Yeah, and I will continue. Yeah, Karen just wrote that. Yeah, you hear me. Thank you so much. Thank you. So sometimes I will be asking you if you can hear me. So regarding the diabetic friendly and sugar-free cakes, so a lot of customers started asking me about such stuff, healthy stuff, and they wanted not only sugar-free, but also they wanted to avoid gluten, dairy. A lot of kids have eggs allergy. I met such customers a lot, and it's really very hard to find one cake that would be without refined sugar, without any sugar, I mean, good for diabetic people, and delicious, without dairy, eggs, and gluten, and beautiful. So I know that my customers before met me, they needed to buy a few cakes, one cake for kids, one cake for family member who suffer with diabetes, and I don't know, one more cake for father because he wants like colorants, dairy, and he is okay with any types of sugar. Now you will have a possibility to make such beautiful cakes, delicious, healthy, and sugar-free. Recipe will be available for you for downloading at the end of this class. What I want to introduce for you, I know that here should be my assistant, Helen. Helen, could you write please something so people will see you? And Helen will be helping me during the class by answering for you for your questions, because I will be cooking. As you see, my chat is a little bit to the left, and I know that a lot of people will be making the cake with me. So that's why if you have any questions, yeah, here is Helen. Okay. Unfortunately, Helen doesn't have any like other color of the chart, so we couldn't test. I couldn't test at this moment, but Helen will be helping you. And I just want to show you one thing. Yeah, I wanted to introduce you Helen. Helen is my student. She finished both courses, I know probably all my mini courses, and she has a lot of very complicated orders, custom orders. So you may see that she's very experienced, and just see these beautiful cupcakes with raw cream, with colorful, no any artificial colorants. So I just wanted to show you that you can ask her any questions while I am cooking, and she's super professional and she will answer like me. So she will be helping me here. Yes, and please follow her on Instagram. So Helen Plant-Based Cakes. We support her. Helen, thank you for being today with me. Yes, gorgeous. Yeah, all cakes are. All Helen's cakes are beautiful. So let's get started. So right now we have 260 people. Thank you for your time, for being here. I have one more poll for you, please, to know who is going to make a cake with me. So just let me know who is going to cook with me right now, so I will see how fast I can go, or we should be a little bit slower. Okay, so not a lot of people. So not a lot of work for Helen to help you. So everyone who is cooking with me and you didn't hear anything, so please ask Helen and she will help you with all answers. And now I will share with you the recipe. You will be able to download it right now. It should be, if you're on laptop, it should be to the right under the chat. Let me know if you see it. And why I'm giving you the original recipe right now, because those who will be making the cake right now with me, for you will be maybe easier to see by grams what I put into the cake. So I think that all questions are covered. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will tell you how everything will go. So we're going to make matcha peanut butter cake. The cake has 4 like separate recipes. It's crust, it's peanut butter layer, it's matcha layer, and chocolate layer. After each part, once we finish, I will be stopping and see your questions. If Helen didn't answer on some questions, she will be repeating me these questions, or you can repeat it again. So just to explain you that I will not be checking chat while we're making one recipe. So I hope it's clear. Watching. Thank you so much. So I hope you will make this cake. It's super delicious. Let's start with the molds. So we're going to make the cake, and the recipe is for 8 inches cake. So here's 8 inches. It's about 20 centimeters mold. I love to work with the stainless steel rings because your cake will be very beautiful once you remove this ring. So your borders will be smooth, beautiful. This corner will be completely like 90 degrees, and you will get like store-bought cake made at home. Another option, if you have such pans at home with removable bottom, it would be also very, very good, so you can use it. The only one thing you can see that under this mold I put parchment paper because our crust will be sticking the bottom, so for easy removing the cake from any board, anything that you put under your ring, put please parchment paper. If you use such type of mold with a removable bottom, also it can be spring form, so please make a parchment paper ring. So same like we make for baked cakes, so just put parchment paper on the bottom. In case you have cake mold without removable bottom, that is very popular for baking. So honestly, I do not suggest you to use such molds because we do not bake cake. We're going to freeze it, and you can imagine that you have a cake completely frozen into your mold, and it honestly will be quite hard to remove the cake. So, but if you have such mold, you don't have time to change it, and you don't have removable bottom. Again, you put parchment paper on the bottom, and probably that's it. And when you will be defrosting your cake, you will need to scrub a little bit with the knife on the borders, like from this part, and try to remove the cake, putting it like here. So your bottom will be with parchment paper. It should come out quite easy, but your borders will not be very, very beautiful. Another trick, if you put parchment paper walls or acetate strip walls. I know that a lot of new people here, and I know that when you first time see like acetate strip, all my students, all my like friends who attended previous live classes make a big eyes. What is this and why we need to buy it? This is quite professional thing, but this thing will save your time significantly. You will have very beautiful cake, and you invest one time into such huge roll. And even for my cakes, I use it about like 1.5 years. If you make such cakes just for family, you will use this roll maybe 5 years, maybe even longer. But I will show you how we do it. So we cut it from this side, and we put it inside of any mold that you have. It can be like ring, it can be a mold with removable bottom or spring form. So once you completely freeze your cake, it will be super easy to remove the cake, completely frozen cake, from any mold if you use parchment paper circle and if you use acetate strip. If you don't have acetate strip, right now, please make parchment paper borders. It would also work. Probably the cake will not be so smooth and beautiful, but anyway, it will be super helpful for you when you remove it from the freezer and have like a piece of stone. What to do with it? It's easy when you have protection on the bottom and from the walls. So we prepare it. I just want to tell you that this is 5 inches, so we are not going to use it. I just wanted to show you that this mold is also possible to use. Great. So I will take it out. Let me see. Yes, silicone mold is also okay. For silicone molds, you don't need to use any parchment paper. It's quite easy to remove any frozen cake from silicone mold. Just be sure that you freeze your cake like very, very much, quite a long time. So our mold is ready. Let's put it here. Let's talk about our crust. Here is my recipe. I just want to show you that I also use recipes when I cook, because I have hundreds of cakes and I don't remember everything. Before we start making the crust, we need to grab from the fridge 1 can of coconut milk. Let me find it. Oh. Here you are. I will tell you why we need it. So if you check in the future the recipe for matcha mousse and chocolate mousse, we need for chocolate mousse 140 milligrams of full-fat coconut milk that should be like in warm temperature, like in room temperature, at least at room temperature. So that's why we measure it right now, and while we will be working on 3 previous layers, our coconut milk become more soft, and you will understand why it's important to have it soft. However, anyway, we put our milk into the fridge overnight to be able to scoop the fatty part of our milk. So we need this part, especially for the last chocolate layer. So let me find measuring cup. And now we need to put some milk. I just need some gloves. Okay. I just read your comments. Yeah. So now we put 140 milligrams of coconut milk. Okay. So you just press it a little bit and try to check how many grams you have, milligrams. If it will be a little bit of water, that's totally okay. But the biggest part should be like a fatty part. So here you are. So let's say it's like 140 milligrams. Yeah, and I put it into the bowl. With this bowl, we'll be working on chocolate mousse layer. So I just put it here. And great. Okay. I set aside our bowl. We will back like in an hour to it. Just leave it in room temperature. This milk we still need a little bit later. I leave it here in room temperature also. Let me find it. Yes, you can use heavy cream. You can use. I measured 140 milligrams of canned coconut milk, fatty part of this milk. 140 milligrams. So you will find it in chocolate mousse, nut-free recipe. Yeah, we left it. So we prepared it, and let's back to our crust. For our crust, we're going to use raw almonds. We didn't soak it, so we need a crunchy crust. So that's why we use just dry nuts. A little bit of flax seeds. It's gonna be 15 grams of flax seeds. Raw cacao powder. Let me tell you how many grams, 20 grams. So I think that Helen will post for you the recipe of a chocolate crust. Okay, milk is not frozen. Milk was from the refrigerator. Okay, so I can answer for a long time. So now we're making chocolate crust. Ingredients. We use 140 grams of almonds, 20 grams of cacao powder, 15 grams of ground flax seeds. I will be using golden flax seeds, but it doesn't matter. You can use any color of your flax seeds. If you have whole flax seeds, you need to ground it. And if you will be doing it like in Vitamix, you need to put about like 2-3 cups of whole flax seeds to blend it into the ground flax seeds. So, and then you put it into the jar, covered and stored in airtight container, let's say like this. But you need only 15 grams of ground flax seeds. Then we have 30 grams of shredded coconut. Please be sure that you buy shredded coconut unsweetened. And if you have options between like fat reduced shredded coconut and like medium fat or like medium shredded coconut, please always use full fat ingredients. So we don't need processed fat reduced shredded coconut for any of our cakes. It should be, I use medium shredded coconuts. Why I like emphasize medium? Because you can find also fine or medium shredded coconut. I prefer to use medium. It's usually like more flavorful and tastes beautifully, and it's great. Also, we're going to use 30 grams of peanut butter. Let me show you what peanut butter I will be using in the United States. So this brand, peanut butter is roasted here, and it's organic peanut butter, and there is no salt and no any additional oils in the ingredient list of peanut butter. If you go to the store, most likely you will see that peanut butter contains also like palm oil, soybean oil, very often sugar. So please just read ingredient list and find just peanuts inside. Yes, you can see that contains less than 1% of salt. This works for us. I found this brand light roasted peanut butter quite great for cakes, and it tastes really amazing. So we have 30 grams of peanut butter. We will need just a little bit of salt and also dates. Dates I started soaking about 30 minutes before our class, so they are in the water right now, and I want to remove the water. Here you are. Why we use dates soaked? Because of two reasons. So first of all, I prefer to wash all ingredients that are possible to rinse, and you never know how it was stored and transported to you, especially if it was bought in bulk. So please always wash your dry fruits, and also because I need a little bit more softer dates for my crust, so it will be easier to incorporate dates and combine all ingredients. So I mentioned that I prefer to wash all nuts. So here you are, our almonds. It's whole almonds, organic, kosher certified. I bought it from the brand Terrasol. You probably see in the ingredient list that I refer this brand very, very often. It's not sponsored. Just this is a good quality and price combination. You can use any other brands for sure, but me, for my business, I use Terrasol. And if you have a company in the United States, you can open how it's named, business account, and you will get even better prices. So here you are, my organic almonds, and I want to show you if they clean. Let's say this. So here are my almonds. I grab some water. It's not hot, absolutely. And we pour a little bit of water. So I just want to tell you, we do not soak it. We just want to clean our nuts. And just stir a little bit. Great, and we use a sieve. So now you may see that our water a little bit not clean. Let's say this. So here you are what we have, and this is what I always try to tell to my students, that please wash all nuts. Organic or not organic. Again, you don't know how it was packed and stored. So if we wash fruits and vegetables, why we don't wash nuts? So this is my point to you. So please be careful with nuts, and if you can wash them, it would be great. Another option, if you soak and dehydrate nuts. It's a little bit longer process. It means it calls activated nuts, and we learn about it a lot into my fundamental course with my students. But I know that I'm going to make this cake with like simple moms who don't have any time. So please, just washing is already a great option for any types of nuts. Here you are, my dirty water. We need a food processor. If you don't have food processor, you can use your blender. You even can do everything with a knife and board, but let's do it more fast. So first of all, we're going to add all dry ingredients except dates and except our wet almonds. So they are still here. So now I'm adding shredded coconut, flaxseed, cacao powder, and we don't add peanut butter. So we add only dry ingredients, and we add just a little bit of salt, just a little bit. Great, let's take it out. Now we need to blend for about 30 seconds. So by blending, we crush our shredded coconut and we combine all the ingredients. So you will see, even having like, you think only dry ingredients, once you blend everything about 30 minutes, they will be a little bit sticky, and this is what we need. So we blend 30 minutes. I hope it will not be too loudly. While we will be blending, I will read our comments. Perfect. I see that Helen helped me beautifully. Yeah. So here you are. We have our ingredients. They are still dry, but you can see that they are complete like chocolate. This is what we wanted to have. Now I'm adding almonds. Great. Take out it. With almonds, we will be pulsing because we don't want to make almond flour or, I don't know, almond meal. We want to crush our almonds into like pieces so that when you chew it, you feel that it's almonds and you can feel the taste. So that's why let's pulse about like 8-10 times and see the result. I would say I did it 16 times. Okay, 16 times. Yes, perfect. So I see different pieces of almonds. I don't know, you probably can. Yeah, a little bit you can see. So this perfect. And now we're going to add our sticky ingredients. So let's add our peanut butter. I had a question if we can substitute peanut butter to any other butter. So yes, you can do. You can use for this cake almond butter. It would be great substitution. And you can use hazelnut butter. I think it should taste also very, very good. Let's put it here. Great. And now we need to remove pits from the dates if you use dates with pits. So our dates are more soft right now. And we put everything inside. Okay. Yes. You see? Helen knows everything. Okay. Just watching. It's amazing that you're just watching. Thank you. So I remove. Let's make everything clean and let's blend. Most likely your food processor gets stuck. If it's so, that's totally okay. I will tell you what we do next. Let's try to blend for about 15-20 seconds. So once you see that your blender doesn't blend, just stop. There is no reason to torture our blender. Let me put it here. So what we have? Let's see. Let's grab our prepared mold. Here you are. And we have such butter. Now you can massage it. Why we do it? We feel with our fingers if our butter is sticky. So this is what we need. Okay, so you may see that everything is super sticky, and this is the result that we want to achieve. Sometimes blenders can stuck even earlier. So you can see, I can see that my dates were broke down, but sometimes if you see pieces of your dates, you can squeeze it with the hand. So it's totally okay. So this is what I usually do with all crusts. So I just warm it up a little bit, and it's very like flexible. This is what we want to have as the result. And one more tip for you: if you make a cake and your kid started crying, or your husband called you and told, so let's go to restaurant, so, and you have only the crust, just make energy balls. So this is the butter for amazing energy almond peanut butter balls. Refrigerate them, put in the airtight container, refrigerate for like up to 1 week, or freeze up to 2 months. So here's for you a recipe for energy balls, healthy energy balls without any sugar. only sweeten it with dates. And as I told you, you can switch peanut butter to any other butter. I put everything on the bottom and I press with the fingers by creating one layer of the crust. Use just your fingers. It's easy to do. Don't forget to enjoy the process. If you want, you can try this butter right now. It's super delicious. I just use this for fingers and I just try to make it flat without waves. So when you cut your cake, it will be like completely flat crust, beautiful. Yeah. Here you are. Yes. Just be sure that your crust is stick to the walls very good, because when you will be pouring the cream and if you have holes between the crust and the cake mold, your cream will fall out from your mold. So that's why you see that I'm like carefully stick my crust to the walls. Here you are. I will show you the result. This is our result. So you don't need to put it in the refrigerator if you have time, because we're going to make like layer by layer. I'm going to put it into the freezer to chill my like cake mold and the crust. But in overall, after making any crusts of my recipes, you don't need to move it to refrigerator. You can make another crust, another recipe, another cream, and pour it on top of the crust. But as I told you, because we are on live class and we need a little bit everything faster, I move it to the freezer. So here is my freezer. So let's see what questions do you have. Helen, let me know if you have some questions that you didn't cover. Yes, Rossi, Helen account on Instagram looks great. Let me know, please, if somebody also couldn't download the recipe. I just want to tell you that this recipe will be emailed to you. Can we use chia seeds instead of what? Instead of flax seeds? I would not use chia seeds because you will feel it. So chia seeds, it's better to soak and they become soft and you like it. So it's great. Chia seeds like ground chia seeds. Would you ground chia seeds like 2-3 cups into the blender? Most likely no. What you are going to do is leftovers. So if you don't have flax seeds, just avoid them. Yeah, I wrote into the recipe that we need 100 grams of dates or 8-10 pieces of dates. I put 10 medjool dates, but I know that not each country has medjool dates. A lot of girls use dates without pits, so that's why I put for you like 100 grams. Girls, please don't write me into the private chat because I will not be able to answer to you. So just send the questions like to public and Helen will help you. Yes, Helen Marine, we have a recipe for downloading here. How much cacao powder? 20 grams. So I see that we covered everything. Let me know who downloaded the recipe. Let me know that you were able to download the recipe, because I see only one girl who didn't download. Okay, instead of maple syrup or agave nectar, we can use also brown rice syrup, we can use date syrup, we can use yacon syrup, we can use coconut syrup. If you're asking about sugar-free substitutes, the recipe will be, and proportion, the recipe will be available at the end of the class. So keto sugar-free recipe with monk fruit and erythritol will be available for downloading later, but now we will not be talking about it. Yeah, now we're making a regular cake with natural sweeteners. Yeah, I said that most people could download it, so if you couldn't download, if you can, just try to refresh the page and click on the bottom again. Yes, Elena, downloaded everything successfully. Thank you. Palm sugar, it should be totally different proportion. So if you want to use dry sugar, please use the recipe for keto and diabetic friendly recipes. There we will be using granulated sugar like monk fruit or erythritol, and instead of them you can use coconut sugar. But once we add granulated sugar instead of liquid sweeteners, we need to change the proportion of ingredients. So because maple, it's a liquid, it helps us to blend everything. Coconut sugar is a dry ingredient. If you just remove maple, you will not be able to blend everything. If the video frozen, please refresh it. Okay, now let's make our peanut butter layer. And I will show you how to work with some new ingredients, maybe new ingredients for you. So let's do this. Vanilla extract, peanut butter. What we need for peanut butter layer? We need 100 grams of soaked cashews. The most common question, how do we measure nuts? Before soaking or after soaking? We always measure dry nuts. So I measured 100 grams of nuts and I poured the water. I soaked it overnight, about like 8 hours. 4 hours is also okay. We need plant-based milk. You can use any other store-bought milk. You also can use, honestly, canned milk, but the second full-fat coconut milk. Because I'm going to use for this recipe only 1 can, I will be using it for other 2 layers. So for peanut butter layer, I'm going to use oat milk. You can use almond milk, I don't know, rice milk, whatever you want. You also can make your own milk for this recipe. We're going to use maple syrup, 60 milligrams of maple syrup. We're going to use peanut butter. I already show you what I'm going to use. Vanilla extract, a little bit of salt. And 2 new ingredients, maybe for you, is cacao butter and coconut oil. So let's start with these 2 ingredients because they require a specific preparation. Cacao butter, you may see in the ingredient list that I referred for you again to Terrasol. Now they are offering peanut butter wafers. They come in such pieces. And sometimes you can find raw cacao butter into big pieces. So if the pieces are big, you need to chop it before melting. If it's like a wafers, it's like a saver for your time. And we need to melt it. We melt it using a double boiler. Here is my saucepan, small one, and my bowl that I put here. The main thing when you use a double boiler, your bowl shouldn't touch the water, and that's it. So here is my, I put 30 grams of cacao butter. I put it on the stove and I'm going to melt it right now. Second ingredient that we need to melt is coconut oil extra virgin. You may see that coconut oil comes in hard form, especially if it's cold into your apartment or you grab it from the fridge. We can't use the coconut oil in such state. We need to melt it. However, compare with cashews, when we measured dry cashews and then only soak them, we can't measure coconut oil right now. First, we need to melt it, and then we measure it. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to grab any glass that you can put into microwave. So we're going to microwave our coconut oil, and I put some amount of coconut oil by knowing that I need coconut oil also for other 2 layers. So I just put, I don't think how many I put. I just put it here and I will melt it. If you have leftovers into this jar, you will be able to move it back to the main jar. Let's say take it. Here you are. Now we just put it into the microwave and melt. We just wait until it becomes like a water, like clear crystal color. Let's do it. We can put our blender here. And we melt it. Let's see what we have here. I just show you that there is no steam yet, just a little bit, but we're waiting for steam. Great. Let's see. Still not. Okay. Thank you, Helen. What can be used instead of cacao butter? You can use into this recipe same amount of coconut oil. What is the difference? Let me see if it works. No. Coconut oil, coconut butter, and no, let's say coconut oil, cacao butter, and coconut butter, these 3 ingredients, these are the main binders for raw cakes. It's like, let me see to be sure. Yeah, great. I will continue right now. So this is coconut oil that we're going to use. It's not yet measured. We measured a little bit later when we need to put it into the blender jar. So these 3 ingredients are the main binders for any raw cakes. What does it mean? So when you bake a regular cake, you know that the binders for regular baked cakes are eggs and flour. So these ingredients that keep the shape of regular baked cake. Same with these 3 ingredients. I have a specific video on my YouTube, My Plan Cake, and you may see I'm talking about the difference in how to prepare these ingredients. I just want to tell you that it's impossible to substitute, for example, coconut butter to peanut butter or almond butter or something else, because these ingredients have different temperature point, melting temperature points. They have they give different, they're used for different goals, let's say this. So that's why when you ask me to remove cacao butter, I want to tell you that your cake will melt faster. It doesn't mean that it will be not delicious, but by adding cacao butter, especially I live in Miami and now it's like a summertime, I prefer to use cacao butter in all my cakes to be able to keep these cakes on the table or deliver it without stress, let's say. And of course, cacao butter will give you like a hint of chocolate flavor. So that's why cacao butter is a great ingredient. It's quite expensive, I know, but it plays a huge role into the texture, into the stability of the cake, and into the flavor. However, you can substitute into this recipe of peanut butter layer, cacao butter to coconut oil. Yeah. So let me know if it's clear. These 3 very important ingredients. So you may see that we melted right now. So it is becoming also clear, but like a yellow clear color. We continue to melt. Now Next step, we wash our nuts. So we soaked our cashews overnight. Now they are more white, in more white color. They're bigger in size. And also it's very important to soak the nuts into the water that you drink, because nuts absorb water. We put nuts into the cake, and this water that it was absorbed will be in your stomach. And in the stomach of your kid. So that's why try to make everything clean. What we do, let me see if you see me. Yes, you can see me. Here you are, my sieve. After almonds, I just pour cashews here and rinse it. Try to spend about 1 minute to rinse it. And your nuts are very beautiful. The reason why we soak cashews is one of the reasons is, of course, to make them clean, like with almonds, and also for raw cakes, important to soak nuts to get more silky consistency, especially if you don't have a Vitamix, and if your blender is less than 1000 watts of power, soaking nuts is must have, otherwise you will not get a silky consistency. Okay, I have, where's my soaker? Yeah. Sorry. Okay, let me change the gloves and we will continue. Let me see. Great. Okay. I see your conversation beautifully. Beautiful conversation. So you will see right now that we melted our cacao butter completely. Here you are, and it is already measured. Perfect. We will use it a little bit later again. So we put into our jar 100 grams of soaked cashews. Now we need to pour 100 milligrams of any plant-based milk. So here you are, I'm measuring with you. Okay, 100 milligrams. I usually also try to use each drop of my ingredients. Perfect. Then we need to use 60 milligrams of maple syrup. Here you are, our maple syrup. Also, one suggestion, once you open maple syrup, keep it in the fridge. However, when you work with the raw cakes, remove maple syrup like 1 hour before making the cake to have it in room temperature. So when you work with raw cakes, be sure that everything in room temperature. It will be very helpful for you to blend it into like beautiful texture. We put 60 grams of peanut butter. Okay. Okay, let me put it here. 1 teaspoon vanilla extract and half teaspoon of salt. Here you are. Half teaspoon of salt. Don't afraid to put salt. Salt boosts the flavor. It balances sweetness of your cakes, so it's a great ingredient. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Regarding vanilla extract, I always encourage to use pure vanilla extract, like real vanilla extract, not imitation. If you can't find vanilla extract or this really expensive ingredient, so please just skip it, but don't put something fake. So great. And so we put these ingredients. Now we're going to blend everything, and we still haven't added cacao butter and coconut oil. Coconut oil, we need 40 milligrams. So right now I measure melted coconut oil. We need 40 milligrams. Perfect. We're going to add it a little bit later. Now we blend everything until completely smooth. So we stop when we don't see any pieces of almonds. Just was the question, what gloves I use? I use medium-size vinyl gloves, medium size. I just want to tell you that probably I didn't put any recommendations because once COVID came, it's really very hard to find gloves. So what is available on Amazon, I buy it. So nothing really specific brands I would recommend. So here's the texture. So you may see how smooth our texture. Perfect. And now we're going to add our oils. We use low speed. So if you use Vitamix or any, let's say you use like third, fourth speed, if you have 10 speeds. If you have 5 speeds, you use like a second speed. So really very slow speed. And you need to see the swirl on top of your cream. And we add our oils very slowly in this swirl. If such happen that you have, for example, Ninja that doesn't have like a window to pour the oils, pour one oil, for example, coconut oil, blend, and then add the second oil. But do everything on really low speed. Once we add all oils, we turn on the blender on the highest speed and blend just 5-7 seconds to incorporate everything. So first adding on the low speed, very slowly, then increase up to the highest for 5-7 seconds. Let's do it. Please. That's it. We made it. Our first layer is ready. Now you can try it. It smells like a peanut butter, like crazy. Crazy smells. Delicious, delicious. And here you are. I just want to show you how smooth it is. And I made this recipe to be able to blend into any blender, even if you have something like 500 watts of KitchenAid. I know that a lot of my students had this blender during the study, so it's possible to do. Now we need kitchen scales. The secret of those perfect layers that you saw on my picture is measuring each layer. So that's why now, oh, I hope it will work. We open, we put our scales. I will show you. Okay. it should be clear for you, we need to pour 420 grams of each layer. So I'm going to grab our mold. So here's our mold with our crust. We put it here. Set 0. Let me see if you can see it. You can. Perfect. And let's pour 420 grams. Please note, if such happens, you have only like 400 grams. So please pour other layers also 400 grams. You see, we poured right now 430. So we would try to pour the same amount of each other layer. How to make a flat top of our layer? We don't use any spatula because we don't want to make dirty our border. So we want, when we remove the cake, to see beautiful layers. So right now we just take this cake out and tap. If you use honestly any mold that you have, you just press the fingers on top of your mold and tap from like 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and last. It's a little bit more convenient to do on the corner of your counter. Here you are. So I have completely a flat layer. Carefully, I'm going to move it to the freezer. And be sure that you put your mold on completely flat shelf. So if it have like small incline, so your layers will not be straight. So I hope it's clear. I talk about it because I know that such problems were in the past in someone situation. Yeah. So we put it here. Hurrah! We finished with this. Let's move it here. And let's see if you have questions. Okay. Helen, let me know. Yes, by tapping, we remove air bubbles and we make it flat. Thank you. Now, I see that you don't have any questions, right? I just want some water, just a little bit water. About coconut butter, we will talk a little bit later. I know that some people couldn't find coconut butter. Scales look interesting. You in the recipe of this cake, you will have an ingredient list, and I put the link because a lot of questions about this. Sesame milk has a very specific taste. This is probably the only one milk that I don't like when I made it at home. Maybe commercial sesame milk sounds better, but as more natural flavor of your milk, as better you feel peanut butter flavor, because this is the only layer where we put peanut butter. So we put peanut butter into the crust and into this layer. That's it. All other layers will be without peanut butter. Okay, if you put, let me explain why we put coconut oil, cacao butter separate after mixing all ingredients. When you're a beginner, when you're just starting making cakes, you don't feel your blender and the mixture. And there is a huge problem that you can overblend your mixture. Overblending means that when your butter, like coconut oil, cacao butter, when the oil is separated. So sometimes you can overheat your butter. So this butter is quite light, easy to blend for any blender. But sometimes my recipe requires more smooth consistency, and you torture your blender. It's overheating on the bottom, and you put these oils, and your nuts still in pieces will not break down into like smooth consistency. You put oil, everything is overheated and oil separated. This is the worst scenario that can happen. So I do it by myself. I recommend to all my students, never put coconut oil and cacao butter before having completely smooth consistency of all ingredients. Doesn't matter what you put, cashews or any other nuts. And once you see the texture that you like to put into your cake, only then you put, like you saw, just 5 seconds. We put our oils, blend it 5 seconds, and that's it. And you're sure that once you freeze your cake, you will not see like white spots of oil, because it happens. I know that it's possible. Maybe when you are when you made like at least 10 raw cakes, you can put everything into the jar. But I want to tell you that making like 100 cakes per month, I still put oils separate after all other ingredients once I see a smooth consistency. So I hope it's more clear. Okay, let's go forward. Peanut butter layer we made. Let me tell you some things about substitutes to cashews, because I started to talk about like put any nuts into the blender. Instead of cashews, you can use 2 types of nuts and 1 nut-free option. So instead of cashews, with 1-to-1 substitution and soaking process, you can add macadamia nuts and blanched almonds. I prefer to use first of all macadamia nuts, because they have natural taste. They really gives a good flavor, like cashews. Cashews also like natural taste nuts. And the only one problem with macadamia and blanched almonds that you will never get a silky consistency. It's a specific of these nuts. Even though you soak macadamia and almonds like for 12 hours, you have like a super powerful Vitamix. Anyway, you will not get this smooth consistency. These such nuts, you will see some grains. It will not impact on the taste, but visually you will see a small difference. However, I know that people have allergy to cashews, or they want to avoid cashews. And for those who this question like a big problem, cashews, just put macadamia. If macadamia is too like pricey, it's really one of the most expensive nuts in the world, put blanched almonds. That's it. If you want to make a nut-free option, you can use fresh coconut meat of Thai coconuts, not brown coconuts. You need to use a fresh coconut meat of Thai coconuts. However, the recipe needs to be a little bit adjusted. I can't give you like proportions right now. It should be tested. I never made this cake with only coconut. I know that my students can do it. Very important that you have a thick coconut meat. You need to add more coconut meat than nuts. So as I told you, once we put nuts into the water, they absorb water and become heavier. So the same weight we need to put of fresh coconut meat. So for example, if we put 100 grams of cashews, they got us about like 140 grams of cashews. So you need to put 140 grams of fresh coconut meat, thick coconut meat. And the only one nuance with the coconut meat, it gives very coconutty flavor. very coconutty. But this is also an option. Let me know if you have any questions about the nuts. Okay, let's do next layer. So I hope to finish these 2 layers in next like 15 minutes. So we do matcha mousse layer. So what we have? We have again cashews. I will put everything here. We have cashews. We need 100 milligrams of canned coconut milk. So let's measure it right now. Yeah, it's exactly like we needed some milk for chocolate layer and for matcha layer. So that is all. I don't need this coconut milk. We need maple syrup. Here you are. We need matcha powder. I have it here. I prepared it. Matcha powder. Vanilla extract, a little bit of salt, and coconut oil and cacao butter. So again, here is cacao butter. So right now I want to show you how I melt cacao butter into stainless steel bowl. And it is more faster than you would use a glass bowl. So that is why in the equipment list you will have links to bowl stainless steel and this small pan. So I usually do it everything into stainless steel bowls. Glass I used only just to show you how it looks once it is melted. So I remove it here. So our jar. If you make with me, please wash your jar. We don't want to have peanut butter flavor into matcha layer. So here you are, my 140 grams of cashews that I'm going to rinse right now. Perfect. Let me rub this jar. And we put our clean nuts at the first ingredient. Then we need to put 100 milligrams of coconut oil. Let me grab this one. Perfect. Coconut oil. We put 60 milligrams of maple syrup. Yes. What next? We put 2 teaspoons of matcha powder. For matcha lovers, you can put even 3 teaspoons of matcha. Let's put 2 and then we taste it once everything will be incorporated. And if we want, we're going to add more. We have time for this. Okay, we put 1 teaspoon vanilla extract and ½ teaspoon of salt. Same like in previous layer. And here is my teaspoon for vanilla, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, let's see. Here you are. We are melting 30 grams of cacao butter and we need to measure 50 milligrams of coconut oil. Here is my coconut oil and I measure it. Perfect. So let's blend. Let's blend while my cacao butter is still melting. It's not melted yet. Okay. Guys, very good question. What are the options to substitute matcha? So let me tell you why we use matcha here. My reason of using this like quite not popular, not standard flavor of peanut butter and matcha. When we make and when we taste peanut butter cakes, they are always extremely sweet. Tell me if it's true. Really, whenever you make your own raw cake or store-bought any baked cake with peanut butter, it's always crazy sweet, and it's a specific of peanut butter. And also we put sweeteners, and it is really, really sweet. Matcha is a bitter flavor. Peanut butter is a sweet flavor. When we combine bitter and sweet, we reduce the sweetness. So honestly, the reason of adding matcha powder to give you more, I don't know, more delicious peanut butter cake that you can eat a whole piece and don't tell me in the comments, Olga, it's great, but it's so sweet, I couldn't eat a piece. So I want to give you like healthy, not extremely sweet, balance in flavor cake. So that's why we use matcha. And I'll be honest with you, you will not feel matcha very much. You will feel it only if you scoop only like this layer of matcha. That's why when you ask what to substitute with the matcha, it's hard to do. If we talk about the flavor, there is no options to substitute matcha. If we talk about like the layers, you can skip like the middle layer of matcha, or you can add to create the same like beautiful colors, you can add like half teaspoon or even less of spirulina. So you will have a vanilla layer with a little bit of green shade. Why I would add spirulina? Just because our peanut butter layer is like light, and if we don't add any other color into the middle layer, it would be also too light. So at the end you will receive like chocolate crust, two light colors, quite like tall, and one chocolate layer. So this is my options. And the last reason why I use matcha, because I honestly want to give you the recipes of 3 different cakes. So once we finish the class, you will have the recipe of peanut butter cake, of matcha cake, and a chocolate cake. And you can combine them. You can make only like matcha chocolate cake. You can make only peanut butter cake. You can make peanut butter chocolate cake, just 2 layers. So you will have like, I don't know how many, like 6, 9 types of cake. So this is my reason. So you came to me, you spent your time. I want to give you more information. And this recipe of matcha is really, really very delicious. You can make just matcha cake. And with the chocolate crust, almond chocolate crust, it sounds very, very delicious. So here you are, we have our matcha cream without oils. And we do everything like I show you, slowly adding oils and blend. Let's taste it, because I see that my matcha is not so green, so probably I would add 1 more teaspoon. Yeah, I would add a little bit more, probably a half. So I added 2.5 teaspoons. But please add, because different matchas gives you different flavors. Now I feel really bitter flavor of matcha. And don't be afraid of this bitter flavor, because it will be reduced by sweet peanut and chocolate layers. That is all. We set our jar aside, because I'm sure that our first layer is still not frozen. I put it here, and now we will be working on chocolate layer, and I will show you how to make chocolate layer if you don't have a blender. Let me see if you have any questions. Thank you, Claudia. I see you love matcha. I love matcha also. So you make this cake like only matcha cake. It would be very, very delicious. Let me clean up everything a little bit, and we will continue with the chocolate layer. If you have questions, please write me. If Helen have any questions to me. Here you are, my recipe of chocolate mousse. We're going to make a nut-free chocolate mousse without blender. Okay. A little bit more clean stuff. Okay. Okay. What do we need? Let's prepare. Thank you, Claudia. I didn't work with moringa like one flavor. I used it only for smoothies, so maybe you're right. So here's a suggestion to replace the matcha is to use moringa. So Julia, my cashews don't blend well in Vitamix. Do I add more of that? There is two reasons why you can't get like smooth texture of your cashews into any blender. First of all, if your cashews or any other ingredients are not in room temperature. For example, you soaked cashews and left it into the fridge. It's also possible to soak cashews into the fridge, especially if you can't work with them in like 12 hours. You, for example, started to soaking it overnight or woke up in the morning and you can't do cake right now. So move soaked cashews with the water in the fridge. But when you add it into the Vitamix, your ingredients, including cashews, should be in room temperature. If your ingredients are not in room temperature, it's really hard for blender to make a smooth consistency, especially if you add coconut oil and cacao butter into the cold mixture. Cold, I mean lower than the room temperature, and the coconut oil and cacao butter in low temperature becomes hard, so your blender simply can't blend it. So that's why I started this class. Everything should be in room temperature. And the second reason why it can't be like crumble, blend longer. But again, you need to blend it longer before adding oils. So this is my suggestion. And if you have Vitamix, don't add more water, more liquid. If you add more liquid, so your cake will be melting. So you will change the proportion of fat and liquid ingredients. So it's very, very important. So yes, I have a coffee recipe on my YouTube. It's coffee brownie. You can find it. Very delicious recipe. Okay, we need 100 milligrams of canned coconut milk, and we have it. You may see that it became quite soft. So this was the reason why we prepared it up front. We need 150 grams of coconut butter, and we will talk about coconut butter. Where is my coconut butter? Here you are. Here you are. We're gonna to measure it. So this recipe is a nut-free option. And to substitute coconut butter in this recipe, I would recommend to use cashews. And you will get nut option. So it's very, very simple. If we need 150 grams of coconut butter, so you need 100 grams of dry cashews that you need to soak. Oh, sorry, I didn't reset it. But it will be, and the process should be in the blender, so you can't work without a blender when you use nuts. Yep. Yeah. So we need 150 grams. So this is also, I'm showing you how I measure coconut butter. Okay. Coconut butter you can make by blending shredded coconut. There is some nuances, but in general, you can do it. I have a big lesson how to do homemade coconut butter in my fundamental course with a few secrets. Yeah, it's gonna be one of the cheapest ingredients if you make it by yourself. Okay, we need 70 milligrams of maple syrup. We need vanilla extract, we need salt. So let's repeat what we need for this. We need the bowl with coconut milk, coconut butter, maple syrup, vanilla extract, and salt. These first ingredients that we're going to combine. And then we need cacao powder, 35 grams, coconut oil, and cacao butter. I also prepared all these ingredients. Here you are. This is my raw cacao powder. This is just a little bit of cacao butter. We're going to start melting it. And let's measure coconut oil. We need 90 milligrams. I have one more cup. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. So we don't need coconut oil here anymore. So that's why I told you it doesn't matter how many you melt, you can put it back into the jar. With the clean spatula, you can scoop all drops. So it's for cleaning. For cleaning. Let me see what we have. This is our matcha, still here. This is all ingredients prepared for next layer. Okay. This is also we need. Let's recheck while it is melting. Let's recheck our first layer. Yes, we haven't poured the layer yet. The only one reason why not yet, because it should be hard. Let's see. Here you are. I will show you my layer. It doesn't go down. So I just want to be honest with you. I set my freezer on lowest temperature just for this class. So I'm going to pour. You should be very careful in this question. If you're not in rush like me, so please freeze each layer, especially first one, minimum like 40 minutes, 40, 60 minutes. And everything will be super, super cold, and you will be sure that you have like completely flat layers. Just because I know how to very carefully pour next layer, even though my first layer is a little bit, it is still a little bit soft, I will be pouring very, very gently from the bigger round circle to the small one. So I will not be pouring like from the top on the center. If you do it right now, it will go inside of the first layer. But if you make it with me, Just wait, please just wait. And the one more thing, so I need to measure it. Yes, we need 430 grams of cream. Let me, okay, you probably see it, right? Up, up. Okay, my cacao butter is melting. So I'm pouring it. So you don't see, yeah? You can't see it, okay. So, but you may see that I do everything super gently, slowly. Okay, you remember we need 430 grams. Oh, okay. Okay, plus 8 grams. That's not problem. Here you are. I want to clean my spatula right now for next layer. I have only 2 spatulas. So here you are. It is ready for next layer. So this cacao butter is melted. It's perfect. It has just a small pieces, but that's totally okay. Take it out. Let's finish with the green layer. Again, you may see some like bubbles. And we will tap right now and remove them. 5 times from 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Let's go to the freezer. Guys, one more thing I wanted to present for you. Most of you know, but I have to show you it. So last week I presented and launched ice cream course. So here you are, my ice cream. So if you want to join it, so right now is the best deal is $9.99 for 30 days access, or $29.99 for lifetime access. So we will make a lot of it's recorded course. It's not online. It has 11 recipes. It has some unique recipes for raspberry glazing, and you will be able to make such beautiful popsicles. I probably leave one popsicle to show you what is inside. Just let's leave it for a little bit, for like 5 minutes. And I have a link. I have a link to see and to buy ice cream. Yeah. If you are tired from my talking, you can take a look on ice cream course right now. Again, I move it to the freezer. Okay. We need a saucepan, and that's why you can see that we use a quite big bowl that you will be able to put on top of your saucepan, and it will not touch the water. So now I don't have water. I will add a little bit. Why we need it? Again, it's mostly because of the cold coconut milk. So right now, by heating it just a little bit, we need just to warm it up. We're going to combine coconut milk, maple syrup, coconut butter, vanilla extract, and a pinch of salt. We still set aside cacao butter, coconut oil, and cacao powder. So waiting while it will become a little bit with the steam, and we will add all ingredients. You can make everything into the blender, but most likely you will over blend it. So that's why I suggest you to do the same like I do. There is too many fatty ingredients. We have a full fat coconut milk, we have fat coconut butter, cacao butter, coconut oil. And if you work with it first time and there is no any nuts, there is a huge risk that you over blend it. So that's why I wanted to show you this chocolate layer as like something unique for you. And you can, again, no nuts here, and you can make it without a blender. This cream can be a perfect perfect cream for tarts, for example. It can be like a separate nut-free cake for somebody who has allergy to nuts. And also another reason why I wanted this like a little bit different recipe than to previous, when you cut the cake, you will see how different the textures of first two layers and this one, the last one. And you will decide by yourself what recipes do you like more like cashew based or something nut-free. Because a lot of opinions that cashew cakes are not delicious, or cashew cakes, it's old school, or I don't know, different opinions are here, but I just want to tell you that no, it's the most wholesome option that you can make very fast. So here we talk with you really very long time, but honestly you can make this cake during like 30-40 minutes. It's 3 layers, but you need to wait before layers. But for one layer, you need like 20 minutes crust, and one layer, you can control the ingredients, you can control the sweeteners, because I will give you the option for nut-free option. You can choose very different flavors, and I hope when you try, if you never tried my cakes, you will see that cashew cakes are very different. I really tried not delicious cashew cakes, like water based and water crystallized cashew cakes. But I'll try to show you something different, like very creamy texture and very delicious taste. So you may see that we have like a melted coconut oil, full fat. That's awesome. I'm going to add coconut butter here. Our coconut butter is quite thick. It's also the reason why we're going to heat it a little bit. So it should be easy to work with it. I turned off my stove. Okay. Just mix it. You just need to create one emulsion, one mixture. We can heat a little bit. Heat just help you to do it faster, because coconut butter has like a hard texture. Sometimes when you take it from the jar, it's even harder in texture. Okay, we're adding maple syrup. And we mix it. Great, we're adding vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon, right? Yes. Just a pinch of salt. Continue. Okay, so you may see that everything is incorporated. So we don't see that coconut milk is like something different than coconut butter. So you need to achieve this texture before adding other ingredients. You can do it on the double boiler. And the speed of achieving this texture depends on how hard is your coconut butter. Now we add our cacao powder. I will be adding like in a few steps. Let me see any questions. Yes, I have alcohol into my pure vanilla extract. You can use like with alcohol, and you can use non-alcoholic. It's up to you. And it's still pure. And one more. So now we make our layer very, very chocolatey. Perfect. Now we're adding any of oils. Doesn't matter which one the first. I'm adding cacao butter right now. And slowly we mix everything. You may see a lot of crumbles right now from the cacao powder. I will show you how to remove it. Now we need to incorporate oils. Okay. Make a little bit everything cleaner. And adding coconut oil. Again, in few steps. If no coconut butter, you substitute to 100 raw cashews that you need to soak, not 150. So 150 grams of coconut butter, but for cashews, 100 cashews soaked minimum 4 hours. Okay, no worries about the texture. Okay, and the last one. Yeah, we take it also out. And this one we don't need. Okay, girls, now you may see, I wanted to show you what does it mean when oil is separated from the butter. So you may see that it's quite weird butter and a lot of oil. That's okay. No, it's not okay, but I want to show you how to fix it. The only one thing, I want to grab a bigger bowl. This one. So for me it will be a little bit easier to work with. So again, you will see it's quite strange texture. Now we need any plant-based milk. Let's grab this one. I have a little bit. It can be also water, and we need to reheat it. Just I want to measure it just a little bit. Let me clean it, please. 1 second. To tell you how many milligrams I put exactly. I can do it without it, but you will ask me anyway. Why I clean my glass, I don't want to have any oil here. So just clean glass. Okay. So I pour 60 milligrams here and I want to heat it. So I want to make it like a really warm. Not boiled, but warm. We are 2 hours with you, yeah, okay. Okay. Let me see, now I would like a little bit of warm. So I waited for about like 30 seconds. Here you are. Yes, when you grab it, it's warm. It's not hot, but it's warm. And we add a little bit of water. Let's add like a half. And start blending. More. We need more. And mix it. I don't know if you see the difference, how it's changing. But now I have completely different texture. We can still see like pieces of cacao powder. I will again show you how to take it out. But the cream is totally different. So this is like a special trick for you. What to do if oil is separated? Just add warm milk or even warm water. Now we're going to remove these pieces of cacao powder. I need another bowl. Yes, okay. I used all bowls. Let me see what I have here. Yes, I have one. I have one beautiful bowl. Using a sieve, just pour it here. In a few steps, of course, in a few steps. And just work like this. And you receive like a ganache. It's not like classic ganache because it's not a lot of cacao butter. But in general, it's very delicious, nut-free, creamy. Cream. Yes, Sarah, you can blend everything into the blender, but as I told in the beginning, most likely it will be even worse. You will overblend it. But you can do. And if you are like in another country, you have vacation, you came to your friends and they don't have any blender, this is the option to make them surprised by making healthy cake. Here you are. We finished. We almost finished. Okay. Let me show you again how it's beautiful, how it's creamy, silky. Do you see it? Yeah? Yeah? Like here. And super flavorful. So what I'm going to do, I need another bowl. I will tell you why, and you should do the same. Because again, most likely our first two layers are not frozen yet. So I have, let's see, this bowl. I probably would use, no, everything is the water with the water. Let me see what we have here. I have this one. So right now I pour here 430 grams of cream. This is gonna be my last layer. Yeah, that is all. You just leave it on your counter and we will pour it on top of the matcha layer once it becomes hard. If such happen that you make the cake, for example, in winter time and in your counter, in your kitchen is quite cold temperature and the butter became more hard and you can't pour it, just warm it up using a double boiler. And we need one piping bag. All the leftovers of our chocolate layer we put here. Okay, and we will be using it for decoration. Here you go. If you don't have piping bag, pour it into any bowl, but it's gonna be quite hard for you to work with if you decide to make a mint leaf decoration. But it's possible. You can scoop by spoon and then stick mint leaves with your cream. Okay. Here you are. It's not a lot, but it's totally enough for decoration. I'm going to leave it in my tall glass and I refrigerate it. If the cake we freeze, this cream we refrigerate until decoration, so until tomorrow, for example. Also, you can freeze it. For example, you make cake for Mother's Day, like a few days before today, put it also in the freezer and move it to a refrigerator a night before decoration. This is my tip. Okay. So girls, let's we also check our second layer. Who knows, maybe it works, but most likely no. Not bad, you know? And we will finish with the cake. So So here you are, my spatula, my cream, and again, slowly I am adding it. As a layer. Here you are. Let's tap. Let's tap. It's amazing, amazing top layer. It's glossy, of course it will become matte, but there is no any air bubbles. There is no oil separation. You see just a little bit. I don't want to turn it to you because I will destroy my layers. But a little bit, you can see that it's really beautiful. So and I'm happy that I show you the trick with oil separation because sometimes it doesn't happen with me. And freeze it. So we finished live part of this cake. I know that we have a decoration option, and I will show you in really very quick videos how I decorate everything. It will be recorded videos, but it will save you and my time. For example, I will not be tempering chocolate for like 20 or 30 minutes, but you will have like a super detailed, like 30 minutes video instruction how to temper chocolate. Let me clean up everything just a little bit. You can put right now all questions that you have about the cake, and I will sit in front of you, and we will need about like 15 minutes for decoration. I will show you both options with tricks about matcha truffles. I know it's probably the most desired question, answer to the question, and then we will talk with you about my fundamental course, and I promise you to give you the best price ever today. So give me just probably 1 minute. The question, can I replace the, okay, Helen, can I a little bit clean it up, and could you gather all questions? So just I want to make everything more clean here before we start talking. No, we can't substitute cacao powder to cacao liqueur. It's different products. You see what I have? I have ice cream. I promised you to show what is inside. Let me have this one. Oh, I can see myself in my laptop. So here you are. Oh, we're finished. I'm happy. Let me show you. I think it was a little bit long time from the freezer, but here you are. This is my favorite avocado matcha popsicle with the raspberry chocolate. You may see with a raspberry glaze and raw vegan chocolate. So this is probably, it's not most complicated recipe or in the ice cream course, but this is the recipe that is the most unique. So there is no nuts, there is no coconut oil here. It's based on avocado. Matcha remove the flavor of avocado. You shouldn't taste it. Raspberry glaze will give you amazing flavor. I can't describe it. You need to try it. And also in this course, I give you a different recipe of raw chocolate, different than on my YouTube channel, because on YouTube channel we have a very dark chocolate recipe, great like for bars, and for popsicles I made it a little bit more milky, I don't know, more less bitter, less dark chocolate, so you will not feel only chocolate. So you see it's much me. Yeah, cool. So this is my favorite. So yeah. I just move it to the fridge. And let's talk about the questions. I saw the question. Let me find. Can cacao liqueur be used instead of cacao powder? No, it can't be because the texture will be harder. Cacao liqueur contains both cacao powder and cacao butter. And cacao butter gives the most hard texture. It makes chocolate. So if you put more cacao butter, most likely it will be very hard to cut the chocolate. I do not recommend it should be different proportions. So if you remove cacao powder and add the cacao liqueur, most likely you need to adjust cacao butter. Chocolate crust, okay, Helen. Helen, I see the question, chocolate mousse is separating. I just show how to work with separation. We added a little bit of warm milk. Can I replace the part of coconut oil for cacao butter? Also, I do not recommend to do it. You don't need more brighter chocolate flavor in this cake. It is quite balanced. Again, cacao butter will give a harder texture, and the main ingredient of this chocolate mousse is coconut butter, and it is enough hard. So don't make it more harder. You will see. Make my recipe, please, without any adjustments, and you will see how different the texture of chocolate mousse based on coconut butter with cashew creams. Cashew creams are super silky, melting in your mouth, and the chocolate mousse is different. It's not worth it. It's not less delicious, but it's different. So that's why I do not recommend to substitute it. And let's watch the videos. So we start the video first about how to make a professional decoration. It's just 7 minutes, but I will comment you everything. So first of all, what you need to do, you need to temper chocolate. So I stopped the video, and you may see different my videos from YouTube because it's like I put the link of this video on YouTube. So first of all, you go to my YouTube channel and you make raw chocolate. Video gives you the most detailed explanation how to temper chocolate. For that chocolate disc that you see, tempering is very, very important because if you don't temper properly chocolate, when you remove it from the mold, I will show you, it will crack. So you go and practice with a raw chocolate. Here's the video. This is my chocolate that I already tempered. That's why I decided to not do it online, because it takes like minimum like 20 minutes. Yes, so we heat it up to, this is the mold that I'm going to use. You can find it in any other stores probably, but usually I give the link to Amazon. You can see how it called. So here you can see that in the box comes 2 discs. I just, for my convenience, I cut the silicone mold on 2 parts. So we add chocolate, a tempered chocolate. Carefully, try do not overfill the cavity, it will be visible. And we make like mini chocolates. It's just for decoration. Yes. Once we filter the chocolates, we put everything in the refrigerator. Then you go to my video with truffles. Super simple. Here the video with truffles. You make a 1 batch. Here I show you that we pour everything into the mold. In that video you will have links to the mold, and you will see the option how to make it manually by rolling by hand. So mold is not must have. Yeah, so we pour all cavities. Yeah, and now I will show you one trick how to work with the piping bag. So we work with piping bag a lot with my girl students. We have cream or chocolate like this, like truffle butter. And of course, we want to have each drop of the cream or mixture from this piping bag. So this is what I do. I use scrubber and take everything out. The main thing that you need to make everything very, very flat. Yeah, once you add everything, put it into the freezer. Freeze the cake, freeze truffles, refrigerate the disc and mini bars. So today we made a cake, and the best way if you make same day when you make cake, these chocolate things. So truffles, chocolate disc, and mini chocolates. Next day, we take like, I think 6 truffles we need. Yeah, and this is how we cover it. It's important. Remember about this. We will back to this moment. I just put some matcha powder into the cup and just roll it. I recommend to use gloves because when you touch, you will not leave the fingers. Yes, so this is very fast to do. This is chocolate disc. So you will see it will be quite long video, I think, how I do it. You need to work really very, very carefully. So the cavities are quite deep, and starting from the like around this disc with your gloves, because otherwise if you're without gloves, you will leave your fingertips. You remove this mold. So don't try to do it like in one step. Do it like around this disc very, very carefully. Again, if you didn't temper the chocolate, it will melt in your hands and it will break, most likely. So you see, no rush. Please really spend like 10 minutes to take out this disc. Here we are, what we have. So I put like a drop of chocolate. It can be not tempered chocolate, and we stick a disc. Then we put our truffles. We just arrange. We want to understand where to put it. And now we stick it. Once you arrange the truffles and you're sure that it will look beautifully, just take it up and stick with the chocolate, just melted chocolate. Here is the cream that we put as leftovers. We like pipe a little bit of cream and insert our chocolate bars. This is my type of decoration, so you can create whatever you want. And then, to show that we made a peanut butter cake, Of course, I sprinkle peanuts, whole peanuts, not salted, without any oil, and most likely they will be roasted. Yes, so we use a lot of chocolate, yeah. So we almost finished. Now you can see that our matcha is dissolving. So while I was decorating, it was dissolved. And on this cake, matcha looks perfect. And the secret is very simple. Before rolling truffles into the matcha powder, you need to cover truffles with chocolate. And that is all. It's extra step, yes, but it's what prevent matcha from dissolving. On this picture, I wanted to show you that there is truffles that are without covering of chocolate, and matcha is completely dissolved, or when it's truffles that covered with chocolate, rolled into matcha, and they look absolutely beautifully. Okay, so let's go to another video. Now we're going to see how to make these mint leaves. I would say that making mint leaves is easier for for moms. Yeah, let's say like this. What you need? You need a bunch of beautiful mint leaves, fresh mints. You arrange them on the borders. I'm going to use 2 such borders, not 1, 2. Try to arrange leaves by their size. And very important that leaves don't have any water, no any drops. Even though you keep the mint leaves into the water, use the leaves without completely dry. Yes. So you arrange them. Then you need to, again, go to my channel and melt chocolate, make a chocolate, or you can buy store-bought chocolate and melt it. But for mint leaves, it's not so important to, let me stop here. Yeah, we made chocolate. It's not too important to temper chocolate. You can just to melt it. Also, I show in the next thing. So this is my chocolate. I pour it into the bowl. Yes, and it looks beautiful. This is the cream that we just leave for decoration. Once you remove it to the fridge, it will be super, super hard. So leave it for minimum like 20-30 minutes in room temperature, and it will become more easy to pipe. Here you are. Just find the brush for painting. If your kids paint, any brush, and do like your kids do with the piece of paper. You just apply some chocolate on the mint leaves. Carefully, it takes a little bit time, but you will see how delicious this chocolate mint with chocolate. Mint leaves with chocolate. Yeah. If you see that you want to add more chocolate, add. But I prefer then you see some like beautiful like center of the leaf. So I don't cover with a very thick chocolate layer. I prefer thin chocolate layer on mint leaves. Yeah. So if you see somewhere that you didn't cover, just add a little bit. Once you finish with 2 boards, you move them into refrigerator. Here you are. I didn't show it in the previous video, but I want to show you here how easy to remove the cake if you use acetate strip. So you grab a tall glass and just move down the ring. And here you are, your cake with acetate strip. It took me like 10 seconds. And you remove acetate strip. And your cake looks beautifully. So that's why I always recommend to invest a little bit into acetate strip. This, I want to be honest, it was one and the same cake. I just removed all decorations, so that's why it looks not so pretty on top. And but you may see, one moment, yeah, here, that truffles are beautiful. Okay, now it stopped working on me. Okay, so we poured the round of cream, you may see. That cream that we left for decoration. And now we arrange our mint leaves. Yeah, you can take out some extra chocolate. Again, work with gloves because it's chocolate. You can leave fingertips, and also if you didn't temper chocolate, most likely with your fingers it will be melting. You may see that it's quite thin layer of chocolate. You still see that it's leaves, and you arrange it. Yeah. And I think I made like 5 layers of this mint flour. Again, we pour a little bit of cream next layer. And we add mint leaves. So I think you got the idea. Yeah, I think I will cut it. It's easier. It's really easy decoration because you don't need to work with a disc, buy a mold, make truffles. And it looks quite unique, and I promise it's so delicious. Mint leaves with chocolate, it's very delicious. Yeah. If you make to surprise somebody, please make it. If you want to practice chocolate tempering, if you want to start working with chocolate and make chocolate for yourself and your family, I recommend to work with the previous decoration. It's really show-stopping. Here you are, and we add some green leaves on top to make it more beautifully. It's my kitty. Oh, it was my kitty. Yeah, just to make a little bit brighter than just brown color, insert some green leaves. Okay, guys, while you're watching me, I visit my my son, and I will back to you in 1 minute, okay? So our daddy said that they just playing. So here you are, we finished. I see the question regarding how to cut the cake with chocolate disc. It's a great question. You need to heat your knife. First of all, knife should be very sharp, and you need to heat it under the hot water. Once you heat it and you wipe it with a like kitchen towel, it should be dry, and you slowly cut the chocolate disc with a sharp, hot knife, and it will be very easy to do. Yeah. Guys, so now I really very short in time, so I will show you really quickly my fundamental course, and of course I'll give you the promo codes to join this course today, and for you it will be like the lowest price I ever offer. So I will share my screen with my website. So here you are, my website. I want to show you how to read about this course. So when you go to myplancake.com, you will find me, and you need to click choose the course. Once you see all my courses, you will see that upcoming courses are beginner level 4 weeks fundamental and dairy-free ice cream. About dairy-free we talked, and let's talk about fundamental. Okay, I just want to tell you that this is probably the deepest course where I put all my knowledge, all my tips and tricks that I found while I sold my cakes. So I am quite self-taught baker. I took some plant-based courses, but most of them were much more later than I started to make cakes by myself. So that's why those things like add hot water into separated oil or like matcha truffles, I haven't read anywhere or got it from somewhere. It's everything that I practice it by myself. And 1.5 years ago, when I decided to have a baby, I understood that making 100 cakes per month is quite complicated for myself, and I started to receive a lot of requests to teach, and there was an idea to make a school, and this course was the first one. And I want to tell you, I believe that when somebody makes something first time, this person puts a lot of, I don't know, everything into this first time. So that's why I want to tell you that in this course, maybe if I make it right now after other courses, mini courses, I would make it less informative, less time consuming for myself. But I made this cake, this course about 6 months, and I put all such nuances like I show you today. And this course is created first of all for moms, for busy moms, for health-conscious people who really want to eat healthy, who really want to feed their kids with natural stuff and to avoid everything harmful, everything bad, and still feel that you eat dessert. So you don't eat something like, okay, maybe I would eat this is because it's without white sugar, but it's not delicious, I would not repeat it. No, so I want you to be happy again and to make something very healthy and very fast. So I hope that I show you that the raw cakes are very fast to make. We made it quite long time because we talked, and it was 3 layers. Yes, but again, what I want to show you that if you want to avoid high sugar desserts, if your family members intolerant with some like products like dairy, gluten, corn, or allergic to soy or eggs, if you want to skip refined sugar, artificial dyes, food additives, and other harmful things, Also, some of my students and my customers follow medical medium protocol or FODMAP diet. All these cakes are great for this option. And another part of my customers, and it's a huge part, is people with specific diets. So like I hear wrote that if you or your relatives need to cut sugar intake due to diagnoses like diabetes, epilepsy, metabolic syndrome, autism, other syndromes like multiple sclerosis. So it's not like only words that I put. So it's situations and customers that came to me with such situation, and they needed good stuff, good cake that they can eat or feed their family member and still be healthy. So all these cakes work for these people. Of course, all the cakes are vegan, so no eggs, no dairy, gluten free, soy free, and eggs free. So everything is super, super healthy. And here is some like quote of my students. So if it's important for you and your family to eat healthy, so please, this is maybe helpful for you. So again, I just want to show you who are my customers, who are my students. So they all eat my cakes and make the cakes by themselves. It's mothers, it's health-conscious people, it's plant-based enthusiasts, vegans and vegetarians, it's people with all types of food allergies, and including nuts allergies. And we will talk about, like, I have a section a week about nut-free desserts. And here I added, if you want to start your own cake business, because you know, I'm sure in your city you can find a lot of bakers, a lot of girls who make delicious, beautiful cakes, but with all those ingredients that we avoided here today. So if I just want to tell you that the niche of allergy-friendly, healthy stuff, healthy cakes, is quite on demand, yeah. So that's why just consider it. And I promise you, I see on my students that they come to feed their families, but once their friends, the colleagues of their husbands try the cakes, these people come to order. So this will be your very, very first customers. This is the video. If you want, you can watch it later. I just want to tell you that if you want to change something, if you want to get the skill for your whole life, how to make a healthy dessert, so this course can be for you. What you will get? We will be working on this course. So this course is divided into 4 themed weeks. But even though we have 4 weeks of training, the length of the course is 2 months, so 8 months. So I found that 2 months is a good time to finish 4 weeks with a normal pace. So that's why I just want to emphasize that you will see that the course is 4 weeks, but you will have support during 2 months. We will prepare desserts weekly. I made the course in such way that you work only Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, only 4 days per week, and you work only like 2-3 hours. So Thursday probably like 1 hour, and Saturday the most busiest for decoration, because when you decorate you need to spend a little bit more time. And once you finish on Sunday, you will have a lot of desserts for upcoming week. Of course, you can work in any other days of the week. All lessons are pre-recorded and you can watch them whenever you want. Once you finish the week, you will get bonus recipes. I will show you them. As you probably saw, I'm trying to give you not only recipe, but explain why we do it. Such things, how to avoid some things, how to make something better. So I want I'm trying to answer to you not only how, but also why we do it. And once you understand how to do it, you will be more professional. We are going to work on keto and diabetic friendly cake recipes. I will give you like a formula how to convert how to turn any raw cake into sugar-free, and also business model. We will talk about it very, very soon. I hope you're ready to start, but let me tell you a little bit more. So as I told you, we have 4 weeks of education. I just want to tell you that I don't see the chat. And now I'm on my website. So if you have questions, I will be with you once I finish presentation. So we have 4 weeks of education. The first week, we start with all basics. And I want to tell you that the first week, I will give you 2 weeks to finish it. The first week is the most complicated for all students, especially if you never worked with any cakes or raw cakes. And I tell you that maybe 90% of my students never made raw cakes before. And sometimes any cakes before. So I know that it will be a hard week for everyone, but this is all basics that I will give you, even how to blend properly, even how to, I don't know, prepare all ingredients. So everything like I do by myself, so I try to show you as well. I don't know, even how to pour water, how to stick and name bowls when you pour the nuts. I don't know, everything. And of course, we will make cakes. So this is the first week, and we will make such beautiful cakes. And also we will make a chia pudding, we will make some fuges. There is no, here is like on top cookies. So everything that you see, we will make on the first week. Next week will be about fruity and vanilla flavors. We will talk about bitter ingredients. So today we talk a little bit about coconut oil, cacao butter, and coconut butter. We will work on piping techniques. We will talk about like crunchy, smooth, and jelly textures of the cakes. So we will talk about natural colorants, how to boost green color with vegetables, for example. And this is what we will make. We will make beautiful pistachio strawberry tart, this white chocolate fuges, ice cream. This is another recipe. This is only one recipe of ice cream that will be in fundamental course, because very often I receive that if the ice cream course included into fundamental course. So no, in the fundamental course we have one basic recipe of ice cream. If you want to extend your knowledge, you need like the course for $9.99 about 11 flavors of ice cream. And this acai zebra cake is also from this course. Then after week 3 is all about nut-free desserts. They are super desired by a lot of customers, especially for toddlers, birthday celebrations, for smash cakes. So here we will be talking how to make cakes without nuts, and a lot of desserts we will make without even maple syrup, like this buckwheat granola, for example. And in this week, we will be working with sprouting process. So we will enhance our knowledge, and we will know more how to make your desserts even more nutritious, easier for digestion, and how to make other textures. So I just want to tell you that date almond crust, it's not everything for raw cakes. It can be a lot of other options. 4th week, okay, and I want to tell you that after week 3, we will have a conversation about like sugar-free and keto-friendly desserts. And I found that after week 3, you're ready to start making your oven recipes and make any any other cakes, any previous cakes, you can make sugar-free and keto-friendly. So you will understand the textures, you will know your blender very well, and it will be easier for you to turn to sugar-free cakes, especially if you decide to sell. This is like must-have, because people who are looking for diabetic-friendly cakes, for example, or keto-friendly, they can't find good stuff, especially if they want also avoid dairy, eggs, gluten, and soy, for example. Last week, very delicious. It's all about hazelnuts and chocolate, and we will work with fermentation. And this week we will make cake yogurts. So you you will make the most nutritious cakes ever, and we will make a little bit more complicated cakes. It will be roll cake, it will be this raspberry chocolate cake with chia tulle. This is, you may see, it's Nutella, and this is the recipe that doesn't require refrigeration. You can ship it, you can sell it in a farmer market. And truffles, it's other type of truffles than on my YouTube, with like 10 plus options for new flavors based on this main recipe. So it's really very, very delicious week. And here I want to show you, I don't know how to put it into one screen, what you will learn. So we learn about like 15 component recipes about nut flour, meal, activated nuts, sprouted nut butters, coconut butter, like we talked today, we will make it by ourselves, fermented cashew cream, healthy caramel, I don't know, chocolate sauce, not chocolate, different jams, really different. So this is just component recipes of like cake recipes. Then not only cakes, but we also will be working with some breakfast ideas, chocolate fudge, sandwich cookies, raw muffins, ice cream, white chocolate fudge, again breakfast, granola, tahini truffles, Nutella, so other chocolate truffles, it's different truffles. Those were like balls. These last one are like raw, mouth-watering truffles. And if you ever decide to ship your products, or if you decide to sell it on farmer market, from these ingredients, from these products, you can find great ideas to sell. Only I know one girl who makes great business only on like 4 flavors of granola, and she ships amazingly everywhere. Yeah, these cakes and tarts are from the main program. So we will make mascarpone tart, classic vanilla tart, almond salted caramel cake, acai zebra, strawberry pistachio tart, sprouted raspberry cake, lemon curd, chocolate cherry roll, and fermented raspberry chocolate cake. So these 9 cakes that you need to finish to get a certification. But I know that you would need more. So that's why in this enrollment, I'm adding bonus cake recipes. All these bonus cake recipes are from my store. And in general, I want to tell you that all recipes were tested on my customers. And there is no any recipe that I never sold. Maybe except some these recipes of desserts, because I honestly never sold raw muffins. But like decoration, like sandwich cookies, fudges, everything I used, and I give you the proven recipe with 5-star reviews. So once you finish, for example, you have a 1 week to finish, like first week of education, you finish it earlier. You give us your homework, and we check it and give you the bonus recipes. Yeah, so if you want to learn more and you think that we are so slow, we will give you another recipes to learn. But of course, even if you go slower than others, you also will get these bonus recipes. I just wanted to emphasize that you will also have what to do. So here we are, what is in the course. You will have like 20 plus component recipes, 30 dessert recipes, and 20 cake recipes. So you will have 20 cakes. Once you finish, you have 20 proven delicious cakes recipes. Here you are. Now I want to show you what we will learn. So we talked about the cake, but for example, pistachio strawberry tart has 4 recipes. It has nut-free crust, it has strawberry mousse, it has a strawberry jam, and it has pistachio creamy. So if we divide everything into different recipes, here you are, I show you how many different things you will have. And when you start mix and match these tops, you can get like over 400 new cake recipes. So in the course, you will get all basic information and basic recipes to create everything that you can imagine or your customers would request from you if you decide to sell. How it works now, for example, and I wanted to emphasize about the crust. So just see how many crusts we will make. So classic date almond crust, it's just 1 of 16, and I even put it like a classic nut. Here is like crunchy activated nut crust with hard nuts. So, and in here you can put almonds, hazelnut, and Brazil nuts. But in general, we have a lot of nut-free crust. We have a lot of no-date crust. So I'll try to show you like alternatives, and I'll try to impress you. So in the course, you will have enough recipes to create 400 new cake flavors. This is me. I just talked about myself a little bit. We have just 15 minutes to finish because I can't be longer than 3 hours, so 18 minutes I see in my like window. So here you may read how it takes. So like I told you, so we have 2 months course. During 2 months you have a support, and but you have 4 weeks of education. You have 24 hours access 7 days per day to your lessons. Everything is pre-recorded and you can watch them anytime when you want. Regarding the support, so again, you will have an instructor who will be answering to your questions. And you also will have live questions and answer sessions with me. And also you will have a separate lesson where you can ask questions directly to me. So during the process, we will have a WhatsApp support. I start from the beginning. What kind of supports will you have? So once you join, you will have a WhatsApp group where you can ask questions when you cook something. So for example, today we made some like mascarpone tart, something went wrong, you write what is going wrong, you send the pictures, and me or instructor will answer to your question. This is the first level of support. Second level of support, you can ask any questions under each lesson. And these lessons, not so urgent questions. For example, you want to substitute again cashews for something. You are not going to make it right now. Please write your question. What can I use instead of cashews in this recipe? And we will answer during 24 hours on your question. You will have community Facebook group. So I have already there my graduates, girls with experience, girls from all over the world, and you always can ask questions there. And moreover, you will be lifetime member of this Facebook group. You finish the course, and whenever you have any questions, problems, situations, different cake requests, and strange customers, you can post in our Facebook group. Girls and me, we always happy to help you. We are also going to meet with you once in 2 weeks for questions and answers. So you will put your questions on one lesson, and I will gather them, and who can attend and talk with me online, we will be meeting bi-weekly, and I will be happy to talk with you. And your homework will be checked by your instructor. So we always give you a feedback. All supports except Facebook group will be during 2 months. So we have 4 weeks of education, 2 months of support. Once support is finished in 2 months, you still have Facebook group where you can ask any questions, and the total access to the course is 6 months with possibility to buy membership, yearly memberships at the end of the course if you decide that you need it. Here we are also business course. I think I don't have time to tell you about business course anything. You will read why this course. First of all, I want to tell you that I'm practicing pastry chef, so all my recipes are proven and foolproof, sold many times, and now they even sold by my over 200 students. Not everyone sold them, but they tried them. This is like quotes of my students. You can read it. Bonuses. So as I told you, you will get 12 additional cake recipes. You may see, you can find it into my Instagram. All these bonuses will be provided for you. You will get to our webinar about keto and sugar-free cakes and how to sell them and how to work with the customers who have such requests. And also creative assignment to make your own cake. So after the course, you will be making your own cake. So now I show you the cakes, not from the course. I mean, these cakes were made after finishing the course, but all of them are own recipes of these girls. If you click on each picture, it will send you to the Instagram page of my students. And this is girls who made cakes for their kids. Yeah. And this is my student who started YouTube channel and made her own again recipes and posted a matcha cake. Business course. Guys, unfortunately, I don't have time to talk about it. Please read about this. I just want to tell you that I put into the business course everything that I would like to know when I started the business. So everything that is possible, and mostly based on free methods of finding customers. Yes, and so I will show you the prices right now. It's at the end, my teaching principles, you know, time, motivation, support. So you have like limited time to finish the course. I will be with you all this time and motivate you as much as possible. Kitchen skills is must have, only natural ingredients, and we will give you a certificate. This is girls who left video reviews, you can read. This is girls who started selling, you can see them on Instagram. Some other reviews, and here are the prices.